Ever think about how the first question we ask when we meet someone new is about what they do or what they've done? Ever realize that the answer to this question identifies how we solve our shared problem? It identifies the positions we take to replenish our supplies consumed by our constant use of energy. The answer to what we do or what we've done not only helps identify who we are, but it's also to our shared question of how we solve our expenses problem. While studying financial planning as a life insurance agent a few years ago, and after developing a few businesses with the focus of building credit for EINs rather than SSNs, I realized that learning how to use math as a language is how people succeed at developing their wealth. Society's standard of education teaches us how to use the operations of math symbols to empower us for healthy capabilities of replenishing the supplies of our resources. We get a good education, we qualify for a good job. The good pay from this job provides for opportunities for a healthy lifestyle, a more abundant life. And in a perfect world, this works out well for everyone. But if you're like me, you understand how much of a rat race this is. See, the typical method of solving our expenses problem is to enter the labor force so that our experiences can teach us the value of the credibility that give us opportunities to develop our financial education through high dollar purchases like a car or a house. When we position ourselves for the credibility of a loan, we enter the classroom of asset management. Here's the problem. The teacher speaks the language of math. And because we were never taught how to look at math as a language, it becomes difficult to translate the mathematical symbols into the statements of equals that empower us for understanding more clearly the available options to solve our expenses problem. Understanding the balancing act of managing our assets and liabilities empowers us for passive income, turning our need for a job into an option for a career. Job fulfillment will not be dependent on salary, and therefore, performance of excellence is more likely. So let's imagine this perfect world for a moment. We get a good education that teaches us to budget, so when we get a good job, we can build credibility and through our budget, collect assets. And because the dollar is backed by credit, right? It's a federal note. It's a promissory note from the feds. Understanding how to manage the risks of our liabilities with our available choices for assets gives us the ability to choose our expenses to create an income. So essentially, a budget is what a bill is to a law, right? A bill is a proposal, it becomes a law when it's accepted. Our budget is the plan, and our income statement is the result. It shows whether we gained or lost. Being a manager of our assets teaches us to account for its value and the risks of our liabilities. Our accounting records of our assets and liabilities make up our balance sheet. This reveals what's called our equity, also known as our net worth. Comparing our income statement to our balance sheet gives us our cash flow or personal financial statement, which is the overview that's considered to determine our financial credibility, our credit score. These 7 numbers of value are our tools for increasing our buying power which develops our capabilities to not only replenish our resources, but to increase our capacities for supply. The greatest opportunity these tools provide is what many infamously wealthy people profess to be the number one way for financial freedom. What they profess is tax avoidance, not to be confused with tax evasion, which is a federal offense, but rather through an accounting of asset management. With understanding math as a language, we can see tools we can use to defer or reduce our tax liability. So with all this being said, let's return to our question. How do we solve our expenses problem? Are we working for money? Or do we have our money working for us? So the question I leave with you here is, how many values of these numbers do you know? If you want help with this, because I value the time you've spent on this video, I'm inviting you to take up our free coaching session valued at over $400, where we would review our financial statements so that you can see more clearly where to better invest your time to provide leverage to increase your income. If you can't find the link on the description of this video, here it is for a screenshot opportunity. Again, thank you so much for your time. It's always greatly appreciated. I'm Brother Ben. Be blessed.